Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for being here, everybody. Welcome to day 4 of season 11 here at the Center for the Less Good Idea. Season 11 has been curated by Muyanga, who is our Impresario for the Less Good Idea. My name's Bronwyn. I'm co-founder of the center, and I also curate the program that we call the Center Outside of the Center, which involves conversations with a lot of international partners and programs, bringing some of the strategies and methodologies from the center to other parts of the world. Today we are having what we call an in-conversation, and it's a format that the center has used for many years. It falls under our academy, which is a bit of a cheeky word for what we do here at the center. We're not an institution, and we're not particularly interested in being very academic, but we are interested in deep learning, and we do achieve that inside our academy, which is led by Athena Mazarakis. In Conversation is about talking through, reflecting on, chatting about concerns and topics that are relevant to us right now. And we are so lucky to be joined by our two friends. Mallika Taneja is from New Delhi, and last night performed an astonishing piece of theatre here at the center called Be Careful, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Mallika is in collaboration with ourselves, but also Duduzile Maseko. And Duduzile is an activist for gender-based violence and femicide, hailing originally from KZN, but very active here in Maboneng, and an executive member of the Maboneng Community Policing Forum. And so we're gonna kind of kick it off by welcoming the two of you and asking you, because you come from rather different worlds, obviously different countries, but also different fields. You are a theatre artist, Mallika, who's been practicing worldwide as that as your core identity for the last decade, at least. In 2016, you initiated Women Walk at Midnight. And this is something that we will be doing today, too, here in Johannesburg, and that's the basis of your collaboration.
Yes.
It was in 2018 that you began to identify yourself as an activist in this area.
Yes.
And so I'd like to begin by just establishing, in a kind of rather open question, take it where you will. Why do you do what you do? And maybe we can start with Mallika and then hand over to Dudu.
Oh, that's a big question to start with. Thank you for having me here at the center, for making space for Be Careful. Last night I've woken up with a fullness in my heart that you only experience once you know something happened, something unexpected happened, and there was a dialogue that sparked in the room. I never have a good answer to why I do what I do. My first response always is, it's what I do. I grew up, my parents met while doing a play. They came from very different backgrounds, South Indian, North Indian, etc., etc. And they, I think, tasted what the arts brings to lives of people who are otherwise trying to build a life, earn and live and marry and have children, but here it was, theatre in the midst of all of this, and how that enriches you as a human being, let alone what it does to you as two people that I don't know so much about, but what it does for you, you know. And they knew that this is also something we want to open up to my sister and me. So I grew up watching theatre in a time where I think some really excellent theatre was happening in New Delhi. And I suppose somewhere it was just written, perhaps, for me. But we lost our mother when I was very, very young. And I was 10 years old. And I think the only way I can classify it is that I think she wanted out of where she found herself, being the person that she was, singing, doing theatre, but then finding herself tied down to a domesticity that she didn't recognize herself in or with. And when that happened, my father was left to kind of deal with one prepubescent and one teenage daughter. One of that daughter also happened to be me. You know, this was not an easy thing to kind of like, you know, handle. And really didn't know, I think, in very many ways, what to do. And the only thing he figured is that the only thing he remembered was theatre is what saved him. My father is the child of refugees from when the partition happened. My father's side of the family came to India, and my father was born in a refugee camp. And that's all he could say, that, you know, if theatre saved me, then it brought me things that it did. Let's give this to the kids also. And I think the rest is history in some senses, you know, like, because at an early age, its need was felt and its power was established for me in my body, my mind, my voice, imagination, everything. That I suppose there was no looking back. I mean, I spent my 20s doing various things and also famously rejecting a theatre training and, you know, like going for it and then saying, I'm not going to go to this theatre school. But theatre just didn't leave me. It didn't leave me. So I also feel like I don't think I have a choice in the matter any longer. It's what I do. I get on stage and I say whatever I say and I do what I do, and I try and find ways to channelize my desires also, not just what I want to say, but also what I want, you know. I want to sing, I want to dance, I want to this and that and the other through this. So I suppose that's why I do what I do.
Beautiful, thank you. Dudu?
Mallika, that was nice. But mine is different from yours.
Yes.
For me, Brown, thank you again for inviting me.
Okay.
For me, it's personal. I grew up in a very violent situation where I had a stepfather and my mom, but then I had to grow from there. When I can start by saying why I'm doing this, it's because I want to change what happened to me not to happen to any other child or any other woman. So for me, it's personal because I vowed that whatever it is that happened, I don't want to see it happening again. So being an activist, it started long before I even put it in place. But I had to fight for other kids at school, in every other corner where I see I am needed. I will include myself without anyone saying, and somebody will ask after, who's this? How did it happen? But I was already there because my thing was that if my mom or my dad was with my mom, two parents, maybe it would have been different. But because I was experiencing something that is not, so my stepfather will abuse me. He raped me for 3 years, and my mom was there. She never did anything. So my problem was that I don't want to grow up and be that mom. I don't want to see even the next door child having that. So for me, it's personal why I'm doing it, and by the grace of God, as Mallika says, when something cannot leave you, well, it won't leave you.
Yeah.
Believe you me, when I'm thinking I'm not gonna do anything, I just wanna be myself, and somebody will call, can you please help me? I've got a situation with my child. Immediately something sparks on me, then I stand up and go. So it's personal to me.
Thank you, Dudu.
Thank you.
Thank you both for sharing that. We were having a chat the other day over lunch, and we shared a common story, which is that there was a conversation happening at some point some months ago, and I mentioned that I think South Africa is probably perversely and tragically a rape capital in the world. And the person speaking to me said, "Oh, I thought that was India." And I said, "Well, I don't think we need to fight about it. It's not something you earn." But that is a parallel, a commonality that we share. And New Delhi and Johannesburg are at the heart of that. So this systemic violence against the female body, and in fact against any body that doesn't identify within the inherited patriarchal systems, is the material that the two of you in your different disciplines are working with. I guess the question then is how? I mean, if I come to you, Mallika, and I see the way in which you crafted a confronting and yet beautiful piece that swung us last night, somewhere between hope and despair. It was extremely moving for many of the audience members. It was harrowingly familiar, but so well articulated. I so respected how you held your power on stage, clothed or unclothed. So can you talk a bit about the form and what it is as a theatre artist to create that piece and then practice it on different stages? I mean, even if it's anecdotally, because you also play with the audience in an extremely skilled way.
It's my favorite thing to do. I push it in every play that I can, this interactive element. I am not interested, actually, frankly, in a relationship with the audience in which they comfortably can sit in the darkness of what is usually proscenium and receive like this whatever it is that people are talking about on stage, sometimes women's issues or sometimes partition or whatever else it is they do. It has become uninteresting for me for years ago, and I think it's because the city that I live in is obsessed with proscenium theatre, and it's obsessed with proscenium theatre because prosceniums is all there is. That is what the lay of the land is. That is what the government set up. There's hardly one or two black boxes, which is also an import. A black box is also an import. So this is how people are practicing theatre. They are making for this one-sided viewing in which we stand, the actor is on top of the stage and like addressing something down, and half the people are checking their phone or whatever else. Uninteresting, sorry, not interested. You have taken the time to come and watch something. I have taken the time to be here. So please, let's have a dialogue. So this has been very clear for me for a very, very long time that I want an engaged audience because I am an engaged performer, and for that, well, the light on you has to be on, there's no other way to do this. And so often it is. I think Be Careful was very educative for me in figuring out like how to do it, like how to figure out what. I mean, it's one thing to have this complaint that, okay, I don't want this, but it's another to work out like, okay, if you don't want this, then what is it that you want and why and how? And I think I'm saying this word like this privilege of having this expansive performance duration of this show, which is actually also a very big tragedy because it remains relevant, therefore it keeps getting performed. It kind of showed me the way. How can you allow for an audience to watch from the darkness of the space a nude body? How can you, and the nude body, it became nude only when it got invited to an international festival in Zurich, the Zurich Theatre Festival. And the question became very, very sharp. How can you allow a white audience to stare at a brown nude body from the darkness of whatever it is that the theatre you find yourself in? And it was very clear that you don't allow it. You know, it's already an incredibly strange dynamic, and it remains so till today because most European festivals have not cracked how to bring in the multicultural societies that they actually have into the theatre. They don't know how to do it. I wonder if they are ever interested in it. But largely when the lights come on, I find myself looking at a white audience and a white audience looking back at me. So this has shaped a lot of the interaction as well, you know. Difficult, audiences are not like audiences last night. Last night we had a nice, happy audience, perhaps 2 drinks down happy audience, willing to talk back and, you know, like also like talking a bit too much, needing to be put in place and, you know, great. It's like what I live for. Many times when I'm in, and India is like this, and different parts of India are different, you know, like if you go to Kerala, they are a little extra only chatty, and then in Delhi it's different. So India also is very, it's cultural. No, we are community people, you know, like we like this thing of doing things together. There's a sense in us that is fulfilling, so it's not alien to us. If you put a light on and we say that, okay, it doesn't feel alien, but in Europe it's a bit like you know, everybody's like, we don't know where to look, we don't know what to do, we don't know how to, you know. So all of these things have gone into informing so many different creative choices, the colors of the piece, you know, the number of clothes, which got clarified really overdoing. I'm a very indisciplined artist. Anybody who wants to actually know about my process will get nothing except that I worked it out in doing it over many, many years. It kind of, these layers gathered over years. Like I clarified so many things completely by doing and figured out through this strategy, I suppose, if we can call it that, or this space that theatre has the ability to open, to hold, and to just little bit, you know. I'm not standing on stage thinking that I'm, you know, like I'm changing the world, and therefore I hate the question of impact that people ask. What do you think has, I don't know. You know, if you want to know how my piece landed, here's a bunch of people who watched, ask them. You know?
Absolutely.
I was on the other side. But I know, I sense that something, just this little bit, just that little.
It's like an agitating.
Just that much. It's enough. Then Dudu will take over the rest of it.
Then Dudu will do the work. So Dudu, let's come to that, because another thing that we shared was, and you talk about the tragedy of it remaining relevant. So if we go back 10 years to the first workshop at the Center for the Less Good Idea in season 1, and it was day 2 of that workshop. We were one little space in the corner there, trying to process and understand what we might be at some point, you know, building the plane while you fly it type of thing. And we had invited a group of practicing South African artists from across disciplines to come, and one of the questions we'd asked them is, what is that thing you've wanted to do that you haven't been able to do, and how as a space can we start to see whether there's components of it that we can manifest. And so everybody had these projects in mind, you know, and they had like something quite set, probably. And one of the artists, who's an astonishing opera singer, I'm not going to use names because I haven't actually asked them if they're willing for me to share this story, but she came in and she slammed her coffee cup down and she was visibly frustrated and upset, and she said, you know, and we came forward, I remember asking her, are you okay, what's up? And she said, well, the taxi has to drop me a block away from here, and so I've got 1 block to walk, and in that block this morning 4 men had something to say about my body or what they would like to do with my body. And she said, and it's just, and as she was expressing that, she said, I mean, I know it's my fault because, you know, I'm very curvy and voluptuous, so if I was smaller, it probably wouldn't happen. And that was like a dynamite going off in the room, because there were many women of all size and race and age in the room who said, bullshit, that happens to me. And so then this conversation erupted, and people were sharing stories, and then a well-meaning male artist in the room, in his attempt to comfort, said, well, you know, it is a compliment. And that was the end of everybody's plans. And a writer in the room said, okay, well, I came here with a script that I've never been able to birth, but tomorrow morning I'm coming with a new one that I need to write tonight. And it birthed a very powerful piece of work, but we're 10 years later. And that was not a new problem 10 years ago. It was an old problem.
Very old.
But we're 10 years later, and the dynamics on the streets have not changed. The other day, this group of artists went out for a walk at 11 o'clock on a Monday morning and encountered numerous groups of drunk men who had a lot to say about the female bodies. So on a Monday morning, as an executive member of the Policing Community Forum here, what is your reality? What do you meet?
Okay. You know, Monday morning in Maboneng, first of all, you have to think, immediately as I come down out of the station, I'm coming out, I've already had 20 cases that happened before I even go and see it live, that there's people who are drunk at 10 o'clock, there's one touching a girl, trying to take this girl by force, or you drank my money, so it's either you're not going and I'm not going, because if we are not going together, my money has been spent in Maboneng, so believe you me, we need to go, and the lady say, I'm not going anywhere with you. So all this time, everything, you've got a one disappeared lady who was in the club, but the next thing it disappeared. No one saw the lady coming out of the club. Now you're coming, someone is lying down. He's been raped or stabbed. One has been shot on the other side. Now, with all these people and everything, one is someone's daughter, one is someone's husband or a boyfriend or a father to anyone. So the trauma of all these people in a Monday morning, when I get home, you'll find that I'm trying to think, which one do I have to resolve first? Who do I cancel? Because now the mother thought that the daughter is sleeping while the daughter sneaked out and he got raped in Maboneng. Now she's sitting here next to the police station. I'm scared, I can't go in. They'll say it's my fault because she's wearing a hot pen and something that was just closing the tits. So she feels that the police are going to say it's her fault because of what she's wearing. Then I have to now sit down with this one and say, it's never your fault. Whatever you wear, as long as you are comfortable, the other person doesn't have the right to tell you this is wrong. And for me, as a girl who grew up in KZN, believe you me, you get that so many ways. The guys will swear or talk something. If he cannot get you, if you don't stop, then he's gonna swear or body shame you or say something. how do you take it as a person? Do I look shapeless? Am I okay? No, I think you find yourself confused. You want to change things that are not even supposed to be changed in yourself because you're trying to accommodate someone who cannot do anything. Even if you change, he won't see you tomorrow because the person was just making a comment and passing. But that's the trauma of a Monday morning in Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Dudu. So, I mean, we could talk for days about where this comes from. What are the parallels between India and South Africa? We know them well, right? These are colonized nations.
Yeah.
These are patriarchal spaces. I think more important perhaps right now, or one of the things that we maybe don't talk about enough is upbringing. And how we have been brought up, but how we bring up our next communities.
Yep.
Mallika?
Yeah, just to come back on that question of commonality, yesterday after the show, somebody met me and asked me, how much research did you do on South Africa before coming here? I said, I did some. She said, because this is exactly. And I said, oh, if you mean the lines, then everything is from India.
Yeah.
And she said, no. I said, yes. She thought I have rewritten to suit this context.
Yeah.
The only thing I add was right at the end about the date. But, and not because that is not relevant back home. It's not because of that. But it is so incredibly, the parallel is as if it's not even a parallel, it's like a meeting line or something like that. And I think another commonality is that it's one thing to be colonized, but it's also another to be governed by states who don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about you. They are equally patriarchal, if not more, than the colonizer who has now done you the big favor of leaving you alone. I mean, they are shit.
Yeah.
May I just say, and especially the country that I'm living in right now. Jesus, what is this? One step forward, 15 steps back. I mean, where are we going to go from here? Back somewhere out of the room. So, I mean, it's also very much this, that the state is constantly finding ways to solidify the patriarchal foundation on which nations are built, not just yours and mine, like nations, So, in a country like India, marital rape will never be rape. It will never be recognized as rape because that threatens the institution of family, which is considered to be the foundation of society. It threatens, and this is across religion. This is not a Hindu-Muslim Christianity thing. This is really across religion. That if you recognize that a husband can violate a wife, then what does it do to family or sanctity of family at all? And this is part of our upbringing, isn't it? What do we see first and foremost in upbringing is your immediate family, your parents, how they speak to each other, whether they yell at each other, whether there's beating, whether there's... And I think we have all been kids, I think we are perceptive. Even if you shut the door, you know what's happening. I remember flashes from like really recognizing moments of love between my parents and moments of tension. Now I don't know what that is, but you feel it. And if you grow up seeing, which I did very much, that the woman cooks, the man goes out to earn the, she's the one who takes care of the kids. She stays up till the man has eaten. In another side of my family, she will, while eating, if the man says, I want a glass of water, she will leave her food, she will get up and get a glass of water and bring it. If this is what you grow up seeing in a way that is so normalized, so incredibly normalized, this is the imagery. Because nobody is questioning, nobody is saying no. You're all doing it. Then you grow up thinking, okay, this is my place, actually. You grow up knowing in your skin, in your bones, in your hair, that that's my place. And I would say I've had a similar sort of like upbringing, even though it's not been, it's not articulate like this. This is where you are. It's not like that.
No.
You learn it.
Subtle,
It's subtle. And it's dangerous when it's that subtle. It's really, really, but also like this fracture of being a single parent child and the mother being absent is a strange place in middle class sort of India of a while back, actually, where you also become, and because I've chosen to live my life as a single woman, not attached to a man in any way or form, you are a bit free for all in a sense, people can touch you, people can say things to you, people can take liberties with you that they would think at least 2 times before with a married woman, because that woman belongs to someone, but all of this is fucked. No, none of this is okay. None of this is okay. All of it is putting me and my body in a difficult, compromised secondary position. And this is upbringing. So, in some senses, I have only been able to find myself, my voice, this voice with which I'm speaking to you today, or the voice with which I stood on stage yesterday. And by that I mean all of that's coming out of my voice, before my voice, through my voice, around everything. Only when I moved out of my parents' house and tried to find myself, my life, and my being as an independent single woman in the city that I call home, which is New Delhi, which is a rough. It is not friendly to any woman, It is, I don't know what to say. It's violent, And it's in kind of like, and that's also another kind of upbringing, I brought myself up, So one is that thing that you're getting at home, and then there comes this decision to chuck that and try and find yourself again, and what better place to do it than theatre, and what better form to do it through than theatre or arts or music or I don't know. And that's also like, that was, I think, the second part of I'm still growing, still bringing myself up. The second part of like where where you get to. But yes, very much told. That line in my piece, my father always tells me every time I go out of the house,
be careful.
It's true, he did.
It was astonishing that just the morning before your piece, I was reading in my news thread, I think it was a New York Times article where the fabulous artist Louise Bourgeois is quoted as saying, "Women and girls, do not be careful, it's dangerous for you."
It is.
And it's that is, I think we all know. So this, I mean, one of the things I think about as you speak about your theatre practice is one of the things we've said from the beginning at the centre, where we consider our community and our focus as an organisation to be a community of practising artists, where they are centre and foremost. Their impulses is what we give our resources to, and we give them the benefit of the doubt in their making, not expecting them to know, but allowing them to unknow in a way. And it was because of conversations where we were looking at what was available for the incubation of new work in reaction to the societies, communities, and bodies we live in. And in a post-apartheid South Africa, more and more the institutions, and certainly the government, who was offering the small pockets of money for artists to show or develop work, insisted that the art needed to prove, before it was even allowed to make itself, that it was good for society. So if you today fill out an application for the National Arts Council, you have to tick boxes of demographics of people you will be positively impacting. And that is an enormous load for an artist who's already birthing new worlds. That's our job. And so we said, well, as this small, lightweight space that has a liberty, a liberation from that logic, we're going to say that's not the rule. You don't need to make edu-dance here. You don't need to prove that this piece is going to improve deforestation in the next 5 years. Interestingly, 10 years later, if you are to look at the archive of work made here, it is deeply political, hectically connected to communities that we couldn't have even imagined 10 years ago, because it burns in the bellies of most artists anyway. They are political thinkers. But we have to recognize, and Mallika, you have said this to me a number of times, and I love the way that you speak about it, that we need to create allyship, alliances between people like yourself practicing inside of your form and activists, in terms of a chain of events and in terms of a recognition of our connected, complex roles. So can we talk a bit about that allyship? Not because we're here to solve this problem, which would be an impossible task and would bury us before we began, but because this connection and what you do and what you will do tonight, which I'd love the two of you to speak about, Women Walk at Midnight, that is a kind of an allyship. But you talk about the city needing to be an ally. And right now, I don't know if Johannesburg will be your ally tonight. So...
I think it's good to have clarity of like your entry point and your point of stopping. You know, we all are making choices in what we want to do and how we do it. And I've chosen, and like many of us here have chosen, to do it via arts. And it's no surprise that you say that your archive of 10 years is work that is highly political, because it does burn in the belly of artists, because they are citizens as well. You know, like you said, you take the same road to come here, you travel the same bus, you know, like we are, it's not like we are in some vacuum. We encounter the system and the city that we live in on the daily. How is it not going to leave something on us or scar us, or, you know, like we also have families and we also have all of these things. So it's very much the material from which we are birthing. It's evident in the work that we have seen in the last 2 days, 3 days, you know. And what is also evident, that you can make socially and politically engaged art without being on the nose about it, without saying, look, woman, poor thing, you know, you can do, which is a big complaint of mine with sometimes what comes out of like protest theatre, or what calls itself politically engaged theatre, that it feels like to have a topic, check, is enough. It excuses you completely of artistry. You know, you don't have to. You've said it. Congratulations, you know, like, and everybody's like, yeah. But come on, if done well, art is essential to activism. Look at the images that we have, and feminist movements will show you how they have time and again looked for fresh and new imagery of protest. Imagery they are looking for. The 15 minutes of lying down. Or I'm thinking of this project from Pakistan called Girls on Dhabas. Dhabas are roadside eateries. That is an image. It's girls going and sitting on roadside eateries because you don't find women there. Or I'm thinking of this other project from India called Meet to Sleep, where the artist invites women to take a blanket, go to parks, lay down. Or women walk at midnight. We are saying we are placing an image on the city again and again and again and again in the hope that over time this image will get layered enough times for the image of the city to shift. And yeah, we do require the city to ally. We will see whether Joburg allies with us or not. I mean, I have confidence in the CPF being present there to demand an allyship out of it if it doesn't give it to us willingly. But I mean, we require allyship of so many kinds. We constantly get this question from men saying, why can't we walk? Well, you can't, you know, but you can be an ally.
Yes.
You know, you can be an ally. You don't have to constantly be in, you know, like you can be around something also. You don't have to constantly be in the center of something. When there's a group of people saying, hey, just move aside. We want to take this space. Just clear out a little bit, just gently. Let us just have this space. Let us move a little bit.
Yeah.
You are an ally if you step away,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
You're an ally if you step off stage and make space for somebody else. You're an ally, you know. You have to, my father is an ally if he thinks that I need theater. He you know, or I'm thinking of my dear friend Aman whose biggest ally, as she says it herself, had been her father, Saeed Rizwan. Because she came from a very orthodox, conservative community. And her father stood up. I mean, did many things, there were many things that were going wrong, did go wrong. But he stood up and said, my girls are going to study. My girls are going to study and my girls are not going to get married and have the fate that all the women around them, their cousin, mother, this, that and the other has had. And it is this allyship with another life that meant that she has a PhD in theater studies and is now like flying all over the world, writing papers and stuff like that. And believe me, it just takes that one ally to change an entire life. And if each one of us decides to be that ally, you are the city, aren't you?
Yeah.
You are the city. So there we are. But it really starts with your individual decision to do it.
Yeah.
So go for it, do it.
So, Dudu, what can we expect with Women Walk at Midnight in Joburg? How have you responded contextually to this space for this evening?
Okay. I think, you know, last year I thought of it to say it's a reclaiming of a night in the same time this last year. So I called the MECE, it was Mem Faith Mazibuko to come. And we had only the tutus
Okay.
and a tight.
Yeah.
And at top, whether you want to wear it, how, it was your thing.
Choice.
Because we're trying to say, what I wear, it's not what you think you know about me. So whatever I'm comfortable in wearing, I need, as a woman, to reclaim this night. To say, I can walk with my tutus from there to there and go a long way without anyone touching or saying anything or doing anything to me. So this walk tonight, it's the second one which we're gonna be doing, because what we did is that it's try to introduce it in all, even where people are staying. Let them have a walk, because you find in the suburbs no one knows each other. Right? I don't know my neighbor, but I know there's a car, they've got a green car or whatever it is. You know, in KZN where I grew up, Mallika, we used to, whenever there's something in the thing, everybody knows everyone, everywhere. And we gather, we dance, we do all those things, right? Now in the walks, we do the same thing. We dance, we've got so many things that we do. We sing, we dance, we stand, we gather, and we open a thing. One will go in, we'll see you with your sari doing everything like that, you know? Then I'll come
I'm
up
not wearing
and
the sari to the walk. I cannot be doing this on the streets.
It's for you to be free.
Yeah.
To be free of saying, you know, I'm a Zulu woman, I want to play with my legs, you know, make what I know best. But if for me to do it, do I have to take out this thing?
No,
this
you're
dress?
coming like this to the
That's
walk.
the thing. I cannot because it's too long. I need something short so that I can blow my legs.
Okay. It's a costume problem.
So I can feel that the audience can feel it, right? So it simply means we can see each other on the walk. Let's walk. Because that's the fun of it. That's why you reclaim your freedom. You understand? Our government, whenever we talk about governments, you're right, they don't care about us.
No, they don't.
It's only us who needs to care for each other.
Yeah.
And only us that has to understand we can't change it, but we can say something about it.
But also to say that, you know, you don't need the government to get together and make a walk.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
No.
You can do it. It's very simple.
So
It's very simple. Get together, and if you don't know really how to do it, just ask us and we will tell you. you know?
Yeah.
But it's also about sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
It's about sharing practice.
Yeah.
You do it so that it can grow.
Yeah.
So I'm sure with this walk, everyone who's here is gonna take his neighbors and say, you know, on a Friday night, let's take a walk around 6.
Yes.
You know, because we are scared as women in South Africa. We can't walk at night. You'll be looking, what's gonna happen to me? In your own home, with the whole security that you put, you are not at ease because you don't know. The next thing you'll find someone inside your house. So where is it that you are free? Where?
Together on the street,
Thank
like we
you.
will be tonight. I'm
so
telling
we
you.
need that space where we can say, you know what? I don't have to worry about my car is going to be stolen. I'm gone. I'm free. Everything else will come back after. Because it's how we live. In Joburg, you can't sit you can't just go and think that I'm going. Not every time you have to be like, go to Maboneng. I mean, passing the street, going up or down, you have to be looking. Because you don't know, your back might not be cut. So many things. So the walk, it's where we feel.
I like that
You know,
reclaiming.
But
Nice.
also, can I just challenge this reclaiming? I really feel it was never
It
ours.
was never ours.
So what are we reclaiming? We are claiming. This is
Taking.
the problem. That's why there is such a problem with it. It is unexpected, you know. The
Nice.
claim is unexpected, and therefore the shock at how is this possible? This image does not exist in the imagination of the populace, you know. So, okay, we'll do it, we'll give it.
Beautiful. I'm hearing so many nice little comments and murmurings from the audience, and I'm wondering if we can open it up a bit, Mike, with some light on the audience, and just anybody who has a sharing, a question, just to open the dialogue up to that. Or is that
Yeah.
are you up for that?
Yes, we are.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Firstly,
We're just going to get a mic too, so we can all hear you comfortably. Great.
Firstly, I love the color, especially considering Women for Change, that just took a very big stance to fight for our rights and declare GBV as a national
Yes.
problem,
Crisis.
disaster. So, whether intentionally or not, thank you for standing with us. And we see the women all around the world. Thank you for standing with us. My question and comment at the same time is, considering that we grew up in this environment where we are naturally considering the outside world to be a wilderness where we would rather consider the bear over a man, and yet the man is in the household. How can we as this community infiltrate that space where even the women are protecting the men that are perpetrating these atrocities against us? How can we infiltrate that space that has been considered so sacred?
Look, for me, I would say we won't, or we can. It depends with you. Are you willing to stand and be firm about it? Because the problem that we are facing is that when they say women are weak, we go down, all of us. You understand? No one wants to stand and say, I'm standing and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm going to prove that I can do better than these men. Do you understand? And I'm not going to hide my brother who raped a child yesterday and say, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. We need a society whereby people are standing up and say, my father did this. My brother did this. And here's my brother. Give your brother out. It's not selling out, it's not doing something, but it's standing and being firm about it. But the problem with, I don't know if as women we were born with this weakness. I don't take it when men say, don't talk. There was a child that was raped and that guy said, I don't talk to women. I said, you better start knowing that you are not going anywhere before you talk to me. And you have to talk. Guess what? The last thing that he remembers was saying those words the 3 minutes after he was in the cells. Because he thought, he's muscular, I'm not going to take him in. And I did. I did because he should have thought of what he's saying. What power is he giving me? The strength of holding him came from showing him that he doesn't have power. His power is coming from his mouth. But for me, I'll gather my strength, carry this guy and put him in. And I got there and everyone was like, huh? Well, now you're crazy. I said, no, it's not being crazy. It's taking a stand to say, if Noah says that he can beat us, no, he's lying. We can beat the hell out of him without even, I can, you can. It's not us, I can. So with women, stand up. Always your face up. Don't be shy. Don't think you are lesser than anything. There's two different things in our bodies between men and women. There's two different things only. Other than that, everything is the same. Okay.
But you know, can I say this? You say that you can hit. I have to say I can't.
Oh.
I really cannot. It is not in my upbringing at all. At moments that I have needed to, and when the person in front has deserved it like nobody's business, I promise you. You know, it doesn't move. It doesn't go. I can't, how do you say it in English? Chhodna? I can't let it, I can just, I can't leave it, you know, like, it doesn't swing.
Doesn't come.
It doesn't happen. You know, we were on a midnight walk once, we were 8 women, 9 or something like that. And walking through what was dingy and feeling dangerous, very South Delhi, but woof, very sort of dangerous. It was Women's Day. And I say this story very many times. At some point, one guy started to tail us. One. And no matter what we did, we turned around, we noticed it. It was so many things, like we couldn't, it was a younger man, we couldn't understand whether he has a mental illness or what's going on, just couldn't get it. But every time we turned around and said, go away, he wouldn't go. Then he would continue and he would run after us too. So it was very threatening. To cut a long story short, finally, we cut our walk short, stopped an auto. Do you understand auto? Stop this tuk-tuk.
Tuk-tuk, yeah.
I know, tuk-tuk, it's you hail it, Delhi thing.
Yeah, there is.
And 8 of us stuffed into what is made for 3 people. But before that, because this guy would keep coming closer, and then we saw there was a blade in his hand, and what was happening, his pants were unzipped, he had his thing in his hand, he was jerking off, looking at us, all of this was happening. This auto fellow, the driver, took out a stick, beat the shit out of him in front of us, and we stood there on Women's Day with our savior, the Ottawala. you know? And and we couldn't, I picked up a stone 3-4 times, but it wouldn't leave. It wouldn't, you know, and then I was like, what the fuck is this? Where has this been injected in me that, you know, oh, but what about him? What about me?
Yeah.
You know, at that time, what about me? What about what he could have done to me? So, how to infiltrate this home space? Teach your girls how to throw a punch. Teach them how to throw a punch, because we need to know how to throw a punch. Not because we really need to go and beat people up, sometimes we do, but what it does to you on the inside. This power that you were saying that I took yesterday, it's sad almost how powerless I can become outside when I'm off stage, when I'm out in the public. It immediately, like I don't know what happens from my stomach, my hand, something, I just give it. Just here, take it, tell me what to do. No. But I wish I had been taught better, you know. I really wish, because then it's a lifetime of undoing what you have been, you know, unlearning what you have learned. So start early, you know. Tell your daughters that they are fucking amazing, that they can do anything, that they can throw punches, they can wear what they want, that they don't need to stay with their abuser, that, you know, it's not okay, it's never okay. Don't tell them it's okay, it's not okay, you know. So you bring them up like that and it'll shift.
And like you said earlier, there's this, it's incredible how effective the subtlety is in the messaging. You know, so from a normal middle-class white South African perspective, I have 3 brothers. And I was thinking about how my first encounter with fear was coming home on my own and coming into the house, and there were robbers in the house, but I was trapped in, and I froze at that point. So that my first reaction, the chemical adrenaline in my body had me freeze, and I put myself under a bed and waited, and I was lucky not to be hurt. They cleared the house out, but I got away with that. And my brothers were so critical of me for not running, and I couldn't explain it, but it was a real paralysis in my body. The next time I encountered something, I did run. So I learned that freezing was not a good solution, and running was. And then when I was first moved into this area in the early 2000s, I had a series of smash and grabs coming into the city. And the first few times it was either freeze or run or drive. The last time it happened, it was the 4th time, I saw him coming. And I knew what this was, and I knew I was being distracted by somebody else. And something took over in me, which was that I reversed, almost hitting the car behind me, but just missing it, turned the wheel and drove at the man.
Yes.
And I knocked his leg. And when he looked at me, I went like this. And I got away, but the adrenaline after that, I was washed out for 48 hours.
Yeah.
So you notice, when I think about it, my parents would say to me I was an ambitious child who wanted everything. And my mother and father had a way of telling me that I was burning the candle at both ends. And they never told me I had the capacity they told my brothers they had. And so they were trying to look after me, but constantly telling me I wasn't big enough to do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so those experiences teach you to go from freeze to run to fight. And it's not that we're advocating violence, we're advocating agency.
Yes. Which the sooner it appears in your body, the better it is. And most of the time it's like this lifelong sort of practice of, like, you know, injecting agency in you, because you are not given, from the moment you're born, it's taken away. You're stripped of agency. and then you have to fight, and then it makes you a certain kind of a person,
Yeah.
Bronwyn.
Yeah.
It makes you a person that fights, and then
Yeah.
you're told you fight.
Yeah.
It makes you angry, and then you're told you're angry. It makes you difficult, and then you're told you're difficult. Yeah, I am angry, difficult, and I fight. You know why? Yes.
Because of the society, how it's treating me,
Yeah.
and the country itself. So I don't look at a girl and say, they'll always say, they beat me, they bully me, they do this. I go to schools and say, one cannot bully the other. Because if we look at each other, we've got so much that we can bully each other ourselves here as we are sitting, right? You've got something that I don't have. You've got something I don't have. So we can bully each other. If you say something to me, I can say something to you. But because I don't know how to say it, you can say it loud, and me, I have to be quiet. Now I'm feeling ashamed. Now I'm in a corner because of you. No, don't go to the corner. Tell the person, if you don't have anything better to do, leave me alone.
Yes.
If it doesn't, clap the person and move. Since it's not gonna do you any better, I mean, every year I go to schools. I do school talks, high school, primary, everywhere. But every year you find these bullies. Why? How? And it's, for me, I when I was starting to do this, I thought it was in the black schools. I go to the high and mighty. God, they're worse. They are worse. And you know what's the worst part? Is that no one wants to report it. And they want to sweep it under the carpet. But whereby you find a child doesn't want to go to school because he's being bullied. And by a girl bullying another girl. A boy is being bullied by boys. Now, I said, you can do this thing better. Girls, go and bully boys. Let's start there. Let's see. Yes, my darling.
I've often seen in schools, though, especially from my own experience, that then when girls do stand up, right, and say something, and say that's not right, then even the teachers will say, no, you're being dramatic. Be quiet. Stop putting up. Stop saying something because you're making it unnecessary.
Yes.
And I would like to add something. I agree completely, Bronwyn, when you say that it is not something that we should own. Like, not structural violence towards women, femicide, these are not things that we should compete about and say, we have the highest rates. But as I hear you speaking, I want to add that this is a common problem that we're facing every day in Turkey as well. And just a little commentary about how artists are on the forefront of fighting against this. As an example, there is this artist group led by one artist, Zeren Göktan. They created this online monument that is like a counter, and every day there are I think tens of women being killed in Turkey, sometimes on the street, sometimes inside the house. So they created this counter, and it's automatically, I think, scans the net and finds the news clippings and adds the name of the killed woman. So I think it's very important that these people do not just go, nameless, just as a statistic, as a number, but more like their stories and, the violence that they went through should be known.
Yeah.
So this is just an example, and I think it's really important.
Absolutely.
Now, look, something has happened, Brown. I mean, they said they're going to, please give the mic that side. They are going to shame and name the rapist. But for me, it's not only rapists who are doing bad. Let them name and shame even the other domestic violence that are happening. And remember, when we say gender violence, it's because I don't know you said something is not coming out. We need to take out something out of men. Can men talk about their own problems? Because that's where the anger is shattered. I mean, everything. A boy child grew up seeing his father beating the mother. and he feels that this is the right way I should do, right? And who takes out the anger out of that boy child? Because tomorrow he's going to be someone's husband. Now, this woman is gonna suffer the most while this thing, it's a childhood thing. It's not her fault. But now she's suffering because she has to be beaten up because he didn't do anything. Now, I would like to appeal to men. Can we do something like this and have a dialogue and talk about it? Because if we can't do it, we're going to walk at night. So you guys drink at night, but talk about this while you're drinking. Because surely, if you want men to gather, make sure there's drinks. This place can be full. Then you have the audience. But can they talk about these things? What is happening? What is it that makes me so angry? We wouldn't have so much divorce and cases of killing each other if we can talk. Communication is the key. Everywhere. So I think men should start talking. Somebody just stand up and say, you know what, men, can we meet maybe once in a blue moon? They're trying in small spaces, but we don't see it massively. I think Women of Change showed the world that we can. We can. We slept, we fell, we did everything on one day, everywhere, in all corners of the world. But can men do that? Do something? Can men do something? Because for me, I think we can do better if we collaborate, men and women, and stop making as if only the victims are only women. The men were victims before they became perpetrators. They were victims, Mallika, before they became perpetrators, because now, when they were victims, they couldn't voice it out. Now they are perpetrators, they still don't voice it out. Why are you hitting me? I don't know what happened. I just lost it. What did you lose? Because your hands are still there?
Okay,
There's a mic.
maybe one more question and then we're going to wrap up. And before we have that question and that response, I want to thank you both so much for your work, first of all, for your time with us, for being here, and for taking the journey that you're going to take tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's. And then a final question and a response, which we can also do. We can keep talking as we enjoy the rest of the day. But the final question, I can't see beyond the light. Thank you. There you are.
It is on. So I just wanted to say that I did have a question and a comment, but one of the questions was kind of answered. So if it's okay, I can make my comment and the question can still be asked by her. Okay, thank you. I think I just want to start by saying thank you for this conversation. It was really, really powerful, and I'm grateful to have been in the presence of you guys. And the few things that really stood out for me in this conversation, I think I really loved what you mentioned about shifting from reclaim to claim the city. I think that was super powerful because I think there's something about connecting to the fact that, the pain that we're experiencing now is something that has been happening for millennia, and we have histories of women fighting for the same things and maybe not fully arriving at that place of sense of freedom of claiming the city. So thank you for mentioning that. And also a few other things that I found really valuable is when you mentioned we are the city. I think there's also something really powerful about shifting, this idea of the city as something that's just external from you, but being able to see yourself as a part of it and being able to see that by changing yourself, you're changing the city, and your participation in the city changes what the experience of the city is. And the other comment I had was regarding this idea of women coming together and lying in the parks to create sort of a new narrative through, sort of rewriting the city physically. And I think that's also something very powerful. I was going to, my follow-up question with regards to that was, from the way you have been engaging in this conversation, I feel a deep sense of embodied knowing of what it means to be a woman in the world and the potential of that and the ways in which the world around us is restricting that. But I was going to ask what recommendations you have for us in the room in building an embodied practice or an embodied knowing of what a woman truly is and not what we have been taught to know or understand about being a woman in the world. And the question kind of phased away because you did mention that you also have these experiences of, I guess, being off stage or being outside of your practice and still feeling sort of disempowered by the world around you, which for me has kind of left this idea that like this world that we're trying to birth can only be created through continuous practice. And yeah, I think that's just something for me to ponder on, but I just wanted to thank you for some of those points that you put forward. And I will hand over. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so succinctly.
Can I just say one
there's
thing
one-
about the practice?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
this is the reason Women Walk at Midnight is a practice and it's not a project. This is the reason. It's a recognition that it is a continuous doing which will bring us wherever it is that we want to be, which is a shifting goalpost for everybody. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to also please add my 2 cents, if that's okay. I feel like for young girls, and I watch this in my own community, is to really teach consent. There's so much like, oh, give uncle a hug even if you're uncomfortable. No. If you're not comfortable, don't do it. I think we really need to nurture the sense of agency in young children to have consent with their interactions with their peers and adults. Mallika, my question is for you.
Yes.
I was blown away by your piece last night. It really resonated with me throughout the night into the morning. I was talking to my mom about it at the breakfast table. I'm interested in, it's very like the space you take and the power you take and your returned gaze and the permission you allow us to look at your body, the audience, but also the confrontation that you return. I'm curious about your experience with age, because you've done it over 10 years, and I'm curious about how that's felt over 10 years in your own body as you've grown and aged. That's also something we grapple with as women.
That's a great question. I'm
Yeah.
thinking about this
Lovely
a lot
question.
also. It's a great question because there's been so much commenting on the type of the body that I have in the process of like all of these years of doing this piece, especially because it got international recognition, and there's been so much, well, not so much, like a few people have gone hammer and tongs at me for being the shape that I am, which is in their eyes marketable, acceptable, and all sorts of things have been said about it which are simply unkind, honestly. And there's no need to pull people down like this, frankly. And it's not even scholarship. It's like, it feels like someone has a grudge or something like that, But it comes very much from the space of how bodies are being read. So, yes, 13 years actually, 10 years of touring and, is it 12? Is it 12 years? So, and of course in the 12 years my body has changed, I have changed, I'm in my 40s now, I'm looking at a new, I'm looking at a new set of hormones arriving into my being, and my body is shifting, On the one hand, aging is just the most gorgeous thing because how little I give a fuck. It is unbelievable how little I care, you know, on stage.
Good. Oh.
This year, I've been noticing it this year when I've come back. Last 2 years, I've performed this piece a little less. This year, this piece has performed a lot more. And surprisingly, in so many new contexts it has gone to.
Nice.
I find myself standing there in the beginning. Unperturbed is the only word that comes to my mind. Unperturbed. I know. I can see people scan up and down, left, right, everything. It is there for you to see. Go for it, you know. Sure, have fun, you know. I mean, it doesn't bother me because also it's not on display for a consumption like that. It's employed as a tool for something that is going to happen later. And this clarity is very, 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 very important. I'm not in the sauna.
Yeah.
You know, I'm standing on stage in a theatre piece, putting my body to use as a tool to do something. Of course, so this clarity has only come with time because I used to be very nervous about a lot of this and the commenting on this. Not that I would, I mean, perhaps I would also think about like how it is, am I looking, etc., etc. But really, I mean, it's really, this piece has given me so much power, so much comfort in my skin, you know, so much that it's really, I recommend everybody to do this, you know. Take your clothes off, stand on stage, it's great, you know. And it's a joke with some friends that, you know, you'll be doing this piece till you're 60. Which perhaps might be the case. Well, we hope not, perhaps.
Well, true.
Well, but I mean, I'm looking forward. We are also looking, I mean, of course, the question of body is a crucial one. So we are looking for ways to open the piece up to other bodies and other artists, to invite them into the space and see what changes, how your gaze changes, how the piece changes, what be careful, what these words change. But yeah. I like, in short, my answer is, I like aging.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.